Hello, 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 everybody. My name is Amista, and I am here today because we're going to do a little bit of Reiki. We're going to do a little bit of manifestation advice. We're going to do some tarot reading. We're just going to have some fun, get together, hang out, get to catch up with some people that I know, get to meet some new people, all that good stuff. This is not a scheduled appearance, as usual. So, we're going to give a little bit of time for people to show up in the room and see what we get going on. You guys go ahead and say hi when you show up. Let me know if there's people here. It is a Sunday afternoon, so I'm not quite sure how many people will show up and how many people will actually be busy. Busy, busy, busy. I guess we will find out. So right now I'm just clearing cards. After I get done clearing cards, we are going to do 5 minutes of Reiki. Then after we do 5 minutes of Reiki, we'll look at best manifestation advice for everybody who comes in while the stream is live or who stumbles across the stream late, or either way. And then after that, we'll start answering some questions for people who are, of course, here to have questions answered. So just clearing our clarifying deck just in case we need it. We may not, but I like to have it cleared so I don't have to clear it in the middle. We'll see what happens. See what happens. This is the Fairy Lenormand, I think is the name of it, something like that. And the other deck I just cleared is the Enchanted Forest Tarot. A lot of beautiful artwork on both of these, actually. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with. Ooh, my hair looks a mess, doesn't it? Oops. Okay, whatever. We're going to start with 5 minutes of Reiki for everybody who pops in while I'm doing it and for everybody who finds this late or. So I'm just setting the intention for whatever is for the highest and best interest of each of you. If you have something more specific you would like to set the intention for, then most of you know how this rolls. Go ahead and feel free to do that. So let's just get it going. And we'll do this for 5 minutes. So at 44 after the hour, whatever time zone you're in, 44 after the hour is when we'll wrap this up. It's a good number for healing too. Setting the foundation is what fours are all about. And if I was doing Reiki for you in person, I would take the rings off. Rings can heat up during Reiki. But since it's not going to bother me, I'm not stressing since I'm not touching any of you all actually. And also, for those of you who have questions about Reiki, what it is, how do you do it, what's it for, or anything else like that, feel free to go ahead and put that in the chat box. We still have 4 more minutes of Reiki. And then after this, we'll look at manifestation advice, and then we'll start answering some questions for people in the room. We have a lot of energy coming out into what feels like somebody's solar plexus. That's going to have to do with how you express yourself in the world. You may find that that becomes more balanced. This is also going to have to do with physically, like if there's some kind of issue that needs some healing around the lower lungs or the sternum or in that area of your body. And we still have 2 more minutes of Reiki left. I hope you all can hear me okay. It looks like my microphone is working well. Starting to get somebody pulling some energy in the heart chakra as well. The heart chakra is what helps us to process our emotions, to handle them in a more balanced and healthy way. Not to be overcome by emotions, but also this helps us not to suppress emotions either. And 1 more minute. If anybody has questions about the Reiki, this is the best time to ask those. And we're at 4:44 my time. Time to wrap this up. That's a good number to wrap up. A little Reiki micro session. Let's see what's going on here. I just want to check something out really quickly. All right. So this is a great time to say hi if you have not already. What is that little warning sign? Okay. That could be interesting. All right. So next thing that we are going to do is going to be best manifestation advice for anybody who stumbles across this video or for anybody who's here right now as we're live. And I consider this manifestation advice good for over the next 24 hours. So somewhere within the next 24 hours will be when you have the opportunity to use this manifestation advice the best. So let's see what comes up. Best manifestation advice. Y'all know this is my favorite thing to look at. Okay. Wow. Well, this is interesting. Just at first glance, this basically shows us that getting into fights, arguments, disagreements does not move any manifestations forward. It does the opposite. It tears them down. And with Mars in Scorpio right now, that kind of aggressive or assertive energy can be super detrimental. One of the things that Scorpio is about is, about death or endings or transformations. And so that could mean that if we're having these kinds of conversations, that could be like the death of a relationship or the death of a project. So we want to try to not be aggressive in our communication around the things that we're trying to manifest, especially when it comes to our commitments, because otherwise we could end up ending commitments that, with this kind of energy, when we end a commitment, it's probably not for our highest and best good. We're really doing it from not the greatest energy. So if we're going to end a commitment, we want to end it out of good energy, out of looking forward to what's coming next, not out of anger for what's here in front of me right now type of thing. So, best advice as far as manifestation is definitely keep any anger kind of in check, any kind of resentment. Really do some of the self work so that you don't allow yourself to be triggered and so that you can make more sane and reasonable opinions about situations and handle them in ways that are not triggered and not causing fights or arguments, but in ways that are more calm. Sometimes it's better to just step away from a situation and let the pot just kind of boil over by itself and then come back later after everything's kind of cooled down. Okay, so that's what we have. That's what we have. And actually, I think that's good advice for more than the next 24 hours. I don't know how long Mars is going to be in Scorpio, but I think it's more than a few days. Nomad. Hello, hello. I was just starting to think nobody's going to show up today. Everybody's all busy from Sunday. Oh, Ascending Universal Butterfly. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. You missed the Reiki and the manifestation advice, but you're just in time for the first question. I shouldn't say the first question, the individual questions. So, do you guys have questions that you want me to look at today? Bum ba da bum bum. Let's not put that on the camera. Thank you. You were warming up dinner. What's dinner tonight? I just ate some yummy leftovers. Message from Spirit for Nomad. Okay, you still have to tell me what your dinner is. You're not off the hook just because you want a message from Spirit. Chicken nuggets. Well, Waylon would love to be at your house. That's pretty much all he eats. When I'm taking care of him and I try to take him somewhere for a meal, if they don't have chicken nuggets or chicken tenders, then the next best is tater tots, maybe French fries. If none of that is on the menu, then I get my stuff to go and we find another restaurant for him. So here's the thing, Ascending Universal Butterfly. I'm going to say something and you're going to be like, oh yeah, duh, I know that. I don't work with spirit guides. I go straight to Sacred Spirit. I cut out the middleman. I know some people like to work with spirit guides and angels and all that. I cut out the middleman. I want to know the real deal. Direct from the horse's mouth. Wendy's are pretty good. He really likes Wendy's, actually. He also likes McDonald's because, he likes the Happy Meals. He's still young enough that the Happy Meals are a big deal. Wendy's has kids' meals, though, too. I have to introduce him to those. All right, so anyway, message from Spirit for Desiree. What do we have for Desiree? What would you like to say to her today? Let's take a peek. Okay, Desiree. Oh, I'm in the way. I'm in the way. All right, let's try that. Okay. All right, so your situation, and remember, this can be past, present, or future. You'll recognize it if it's the past or the present. If it's the future, it'll happen within 2 weeks. A lot of times it happens much sooner than that. So, situation. First of all, we have the Ten of Boons in reverse. This talks about, look at this. Look at this whole big family sitting down. This looks like a reception, like after something like, I don't know, say a funeral. I might know a little bit about what's going on in Desiree's life right now. So with this being in reverse, this just basically says that there could be a lot of friction going on with the family and with stability and security especially. Okay. So then we have the Two of Visions. Now, this talks about the idea of being drawn to something, being attracted to something. And so this basically coming up after this card, I'm going to say that there was some reason why you felt compelled or attracted to the idea of dealing with this situation with family where things did not feel so hot. All right. And so this is just something that Spirit wants you to consider, think about, look at, is what I'm going to say, because I think this is talking about something that already happened. I could be wrong. You'll recognize more than I will. But let's look at our best advice or our best insight here. Advice or heads up. So, first of all, we have the world. Now, the world for me talks about endings, but it also talks about ideals. Okay. And then we have the Three of Boons, which talks about collaborations. And we have the Seven of Spells, which talks about boundaries. We're setting some boundaries. Okay. So this is basically saying that out of this situation that you had with family that you felt like you really needed to participate in or you were compelled or wanted to participate in, this says that the ideal way to handle this situation moving forward from whatever came out of that, with any collaborations that came out of that. So anybody that, you met that now you're actually, you're talking to and things are maybe, a little bit more smooth than what they have been in the past. The Seven of Spells says you still want to keep some boundaries because that situation is still kind of a toxic situation. Remember our table upturned here. That situation is still a toxic situation. So even with any collaborations, you want to move forward with those collaborations, but you want to do so with care. You don't want to just throw all care to the wind. You want to give these other people or this other person a chance to really prove their intentions and prove out how they're actually going to behave towards you. And so that's why you have the boundaries. You're just kind of like dipping your toe into those collaborations, like one toe at a time, and see how they're handling that. And they may handle it just fine, but it's really good for you to feel safe while you're doing this too. And that's the best way to do that, is kind of test them out a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm glad that makes sense for you. All right, so let's see. I'm pretty sure Ascending Universal Butterfly. Ascending is your first name, Sarah. You have some energy very similar to someone I already know. You're quite welcome, quite welcome, quite welcome. Let's see. So I feel like I've missed some messages here. Let me just catch up. Okay. Okay, so agreeing on the idea of Sacred Spirit. Okay, so let's see what Sacred Spirit wants to talk to you about. Universal, or excuse me, yeah, Ascending Universal Butterfly. That's a long name. I'm going to call you Ascending. I'm going to call you Stepping Up. Okay, Stepping Up. Your name is Butterfly. Oh, okay, well, you're not the person I was thinking of then. All right. So let's see about message from Spirit for Stepping Up. Butterfly stepping up. Boo, 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 boo. Flying away from the chrysalis she is. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just channeling some messages that are coming in for you. And you've been going through some pretty difficult changes, but I feel like you have had some goals in mind and you are moving forward towards those goals. You may feel a little bit like you're kind of stuck on the edge and getting stagnant, like you don't know if you can actually keep moving towards those goals. And the answer is yes, you can. And in fact, you'll find yourself moving towards those goals with a little bit less resistance, maybe even a lot less resistance here within the next 2 weeks, is what I'm hearing. So keep just putting one foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. One foot in front of the other. Space and peace are both good. Nomad, that's for sure. So let's see what the cards have to say. See what the cards have to say. But I also want to know, stepping up, does that make sense for you? Oh, no wonder Spirit dropped stepping up as what I should call you. Yeah, they are for a lot of empaths. Seems like boundaries take a long time for a lot of us who are empaths to really learn. I definitely took my time learning that lesson. That could never a song. I don't know what you're trying to say, my friend. La da da, la da da, la da 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 da. Mm-hmm. All right. Looking at your card message, we're starting off with the Keeper of Challenges in reverse. Let's slide this over a little bit. Actually, let's just make me a little smaller because I keep putting it right there, don't I? There, that's better. Okay. So we have our Keeper of Challenges in reverse, and we have our Seeker of Boons in reverse. Interesting. First of all, is the Keeper of Challenges Butterfly or somebody else? Somebody else. What about the Seeker of Boons? Also somebody else. Is that the same person? Oh, okay. That's interesting. Teresa, hello, hello, welcome. All right, so Butterfly, with this Keeper of Challenges in reverse, you've got somebody in your sphere of influence who is keeping quiet about the idea that somebody else, which is not you, but somebody else is not really putting in any work or effort. It may be that somebody else is not doing the work at a job. Maybe they don't have a job. There's something going on where somebody's not putting an effort into something, and this other person is not sharing that information. I don't know if I necessarily want to say that they're trying to cover for this person not putting in energy or effort. I'm not sure if they're intentionally keeping a secret or if they're just, this is just something that they just don't really want to talk about. And it hasn't come up in conversation. So why should they bring it up? The more I feel into it, the more I feel like they're afraid that if they even bring it up, that just brings in a bunch of drama that they would rather not deal with. Crystal, hello, hello. Okay, now let's look at your best advice or heads up. And remember, this could be past, present, or future. Guys, if you're not subscribed, definitely subscribe. Let's see, at least if you want to catch more videos like this. So we have the 3 of visions. We have the 2 of challenges in reverse. That rings a bell. Good. Okay. And the 4 of visions. So this card is talking to me about friendship and good time with friends, actually. And then my 2 of challenges talks about this idea about being really indecisive. 4 visions. I think you're really indecisive about, even when you're spending time with friends, you may be really indecisive about whether these people are actually your friends or not, especially if you've got something going on where somebody isn't sharing information with you and another person isn't putting in energy towards something. This to me tells me that we've got friends in the picture, but we're really indecisive about these friends. And actually, we're feeling a little sorry for ourselves here. This is my pity party card, actually. we're feeling a little sorry for ourselves because we're not sure how far we can trust these friends. Can we trust them as far as we can throw them, or can we not? So that's kind of what we've got going on here. And it looks to me like, it might be time to do some kind of litmus test on those friends, or even get a reading and say, okay, like I specialize in relationship readings. So if you want to get a reading and say, can I trust this one? Can I trust this one? Can I trust this one? I've answered those kinds of questions before. And you can always check out my website. It's on the screen if you want to see how to book a reading with me. But I do have different kinds of readings. We've got recorded readings and I've got live readings. You can check all that out there. If you have any questions, always give me a holler. But that's what I've got for your message from Spirit. Let's see what's next. Teresa, do you want a message, my friend? Crystal, 1983. What does my XN current energies or emotions towards me? Okay, honey bunny, if you could give me a first name, that would be helpful. I like to use first names to make sure that I'm connecting with the right person. Don't put the last name, just the first name, please. You're quite welcome. Quite welcome. Stepping up. Stepping up to the sunshine. Nixon, and you are carrying. Thank you. Ba 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 ba. And guys, if you have not subscribed yet and you want to catch more live readings like this and all the other stuff that I put up, definitely subscribe. And then whenever you clock into YouTube, make sure you go to your subscriber feed. That's going to be over on the left usually, where you click on your subscriptions to find whatever I've put up there. Okay, so tell me about Nixon's feelings, current feelings towards Carrie Ann. What are Nixon's current feelings towards Carrie Ann, please? Okay, so I'm going to look at this Carrie Ann, but I am going to tell you that feelings are highly transient. 20 minutes and this could be completely out of date. Just so you know. But currently, whoa. How long have you guys been exes? Aw. Doesn't look like you've been exes very long. Or if you have been exes very long, this guy is very sensitive because, man, look at that. He's still dealing with some heartbreak. We've got the tower here. This tower tells me that whatever pulled you guys apart was a major shakeup. This is probably where people are throwing dishes across the living room, screaming, shouting. Maybe not that extreme, but pretty dramatic breakup. Okay. Now we have the huntsman. This tells me that this person feels like he's kind of out of control. He doesn't have any control over this situation, which is kind of how we feel normally after a tower situation. Huge shakeup. We don't feel like we have control. And he's crying. So he's not very happy about this. I don't know if you broke up with him or he broke up with you, but at this point, he's definitely not happy about this situation. Very dramatic. I am not surprised at all. And those dramatic breakups, those are the ones that people most often end up circling back around in. Now, the thing that I am a little bit concerned about here is this huntsman in reverse. I want to make sure of something really quickly because that can be somebody feeling like they're out of control. That can also be an indicator for somebody who has narcissistic tendencies. And in that case, I don't know how sorry you want to feel for them because they're crying. But if they're not narcissistic, then that's a whole different ball game. Okay, let's take a peek. Is this Nixon person has strong narcissistic personality traits? Or are they a narcissist? Either one, yes or no, please. Normally, I would have you do a second reading for this, but that's a no. That's a no. So this guy is just genuinely hurt over the way that everything ended. Yeah, I don't think that he does. Not from those cards. Those cards would tell me if he did, trust me. Well, I don't know. You don't know me that well. Maybe don't trust me. But my tarot is very familiar with narcissistic people in the questions. All right, so let's see here. Bop, bop, bop. What's next? May 14th. That's actually a little while for him to still be crying about it. He's still heartbroken over it. That's crazy. I got to tell you, man, you broke up with me May 14th. I'd be like, well, that's a done deal. Especially if it was dramatic. I'd be like, I'm out of here. Piss off, man. He is still hanging up on it, though. All right, so anyway, Teresa wants a message from Spirit. And then who else is in line here? Best version. Hello, hello. You are good for a question, honey bunny. Wow. I don't know with those cards. If you think that maybe there's potential there, you may want to check and see if you're still blocked or not. Maybe he did block you just trying to get over you, but he's not having a good time of it. Okay, so let's see here. Teresa. Message from Spirit from Miss Teresa. Remember, this can be past, present, or future. Ba-ba-da-da-da. Look at my star top fans. Isn't that cool? Thank you guys for being top fans. That's still kind of new to me. I don't understand how they rate that, but I guess there's a logarithm. Teresa. Message from Spirit. What do we have here? Guys, are you seeing my video okay? Or is it kind of chopping up? Okay, let's see here. Teresa, first of all, we have the Keeper of the Boons, followed by the Five of Visions. Huh. There's somebody in your sphere of influence who's normally pretty stable, pretty steady, pretty laid back, secure. They may be secure financially, but I feel like they're definitely secure emotionally and mentally. That would make sense, Crystal. That's for sure. And then we've got the Five of Visions here, which talks about being disappointed. So this person is disappointed about something. And they're showing up. I mean, if somebody like this is showing up in your reading, then that just says this is somebody who's in your sphere of influence, who has a significant amount of influence on you. So you may be impacted by their moods. So sometimes those people, it's good to know what kind of mood they're in and why. Now, with this ball falling in the water, and you can see the girl kind of running after it here, the frog's sort of watching. Just an onlooker here. When this ball hits the water, this is disappointing, especially if it's actually gold. And it's kind of the color of gold, but you know if that's metal, that's sinking. She's going to have to be doing some diving to get that out. So obviously that's pretty disappointing. So this person is disappointed about something, and I'm really getting kind of a sense that they're disappointed about something having to do with finances or money, because I've never seen this ball as like a ball made out of gold before. So, and maybe this is like, the nest egg, the golden nest egg. Maybe there's something going on that they're disappointed. Maybe they thought it would grow faster, or maybe they thought that, maybe something happened and it kind of took a hit, and it feels like it's lost to this person. But we have something going on here where this person is feeling pretty disappointed, noticeably disappointed for this card to even come up. Okay. Now, Best advice or heads up around this situation for you, Miss Teresa? Hmm. The Eight of Wounds talks about something not working out here. Sometimes it can be not going to work, but I feel like this is something not working out here. And with the Six of Spells, it's not working out because I feel like you're trying to do something to help this person, whether that's words of encouragement or whether that's actual actions or contributions. You're trying to do something to encourage this person, but whatever you're trying to do is not working out. Well, why is it not working out? It's not working out because this person doesn't appreciate your efforts. They may be looking at you and saying, well, that's nice, but that doesn't increase my bank account any now, does it? This is very cynical. They're disappointed. They're upset. They're being a grump, basically, is what's going on here. And with the Seeker of Spells, this tells me that this has you kind of losing energy about how much you want to invest in trying to help this person, whether that's your energy, effort, words, whatever. This has you kind of sucking energy, having your energy sucked away by this person's non appreciative grumpiness. So you want to pay attention to, where am I spending all my energy? And am I spending my energy in such a way that I'm getting some kind of return back for it? I'm getting some kind of reciprocation back for it, because that reciprocation is what feeds us and gives us fuel and allows us to keep going. We can help people who don't appreciate us, but we can only help them for so long before we run out of juice. And so it may be, this is really Spirit kind of warning you that if you keep trying to give to this person, and probably already you've sort of run out of juice a little bit, well, this is Spirit saying, but this is why, so that you know how to course correct moving forward if you choose to. The cards don't take away your free will, but hopefully they make you more aware of your situation so that you can decide what is your free will around this. Okay, I hope that makes sense for you, Ms. Teresa. All right. Avneet. And why is my phone going off? Hang on. Let me just make sure nothing important is happening. Da, 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 da. Okay. All kinds of things are happening, but nothing that has to be dealt with right now. Awesome, Miss Teresa. Okay, let me read Avneet's question. Created a free quiz for businesses to see where there is a growth block. I am a part of its community where many people needing help building it up. Would it be successful with my quiz? And how would it be with the quiz and helping others with it? Okay, so is moving forward with this quiz that Avneet's talking about, is that going to be something that works out well for her? Let's just summarize that question. Will that be something that works out well for Avneet to move forward with this quiz? Let's see. You got a really nice card right there. Let's see what we have. I'm going to say we basically have a mixed bag here. So there's something about this that works well, and there's probably something about this that could use some tweaking. First of all, we see that, this is, doing some excited research. And that's what, having a quiz is you're doing some research. And I think you're excited to do this research. And this research has to do with the independence of somebody else. Like, how are they doing on their own? Okay. The Great Mother does talk about manifesting, and it talks about creating those manifestations with the more feminine energy, that more receptive energy. And we've got the Child of Visions, which talks about this idea of getting a lot of good messages about this quiz. I think people are going to appreciate the quiz enchanter, though, showing up in reverse, this would be kind of like a magician in reverse. So there's some advice here that comes up anytime this card comes up in reverse, which basically has to do with this idea that even with this quiz, even with how much people like the idea of it, it may not move you forward by itself. And so with the enchanter, this talks about this idea of even though people really like it, you could feel like you're beating your head against the wall with this. You may not see any results really fast on this, as fast as you're hoping at least. But with the enchanter, the advice is always, if he comes up in reverse, it's like you have left spirit out of this process. It's time to do some ceremony or do some prayer or whatever you do to get spirit involved in this situation. Excuse me. And then once you do that, then you just kind of see what happens. And spirit could nudge you with some ideas about other things that you can do along with the quiz. What should you say when somebody expresses appreciation for the quiz and how they've seen stuff? So there's going to be more to do. And you want to get in touch with spirit and say, okay, I need some guidance. I need some help. How do I make this successful? I think it has the potential to be worth it for you to go with this, but I think there needs to be more to the plan than what you have in your mind right now to bring in the results that you really want here. All right. All right. Anybody else have a question? I'll answer one question per person. If there's anybody else who has a question, please say so now. Because if people don't have much to say, then I just kind of disappear. Thank you very much, Teresa. Please, yes, everybody put a like on this video if you have not already. Also share it out to other people so other people can have messages too. Everybody likes to get a little free message, little insight, little question answered. Boo-ba-da-doo. Excellent, excellent. Well, then you got a pat on the back for taking it as far as you have and some encouragement to take it to the next step. That's awesome, Evney. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. I would work on your closing, is what I'm picking up. Work on your closing presentation. Anybody else have a question or anything they want to talk about? I want to try to be available for about maybe 17 more minutes for people to come into the room and ask questions. So if you guys want to talk about other stuff, we can kind of chill. Yep, I can actually see that, Avneet. I think that the feeling that I get is that what you need to do now is a lot of your people who have taken your quiz have decided, okay, well, now I know what to do moving forward. Because it is detailed and it's a really nice freebie. It's like the luxury freebie. So now your sales pitch has to be, here's how I can help you more effectively get past those blockages. And you're not telling them how, but you're basically saying, this is what I can do for you. I can make sure that you take off like a rocket instead of move forward like a turtle. Mm-hmm. Even your closing to get them to call you. That's where I would put in that work. You've got to really, it's like you're showing them their need, but they're coming away feeling like, oh, now I know what to do with this after the pre-quiz. You have to show them that they still need somebody to guide them so that they can accomplish what they want to more quickly. That way, they call you more at a higher percentage rate. To me, that's where the closing is, because once you're actually talking to somebody, you can tell them what you can do for them, and then that's the easy part as far as I'm concerned. That's always been the easy part for me. Like once somebody calls me, I can say, this is what we can look at, this is what we can find out, this is what I can do for you. Focus on, well, it sounds like she's helped them find the pain points. So now it's time to focus on the benefits she can bring. And especially if you've already got the answers to their quizzes, then you know exactly what kind of benefits they need. Boo-ba-da-doo-doo, boo-ba-da-doo, boo-ba-da-doo-doo, boo-ba-da-doo. I guess while we're here, I could pull a message from Spirit for me. I did that earlier, but you can never have too many. Good, good. Excellent. All right, let's see. Do I really want to pull a message for me? Probably not. This time is supposed to be all about you guys. Yes. Marketing based on the results you can bring them. Dana! Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Shh. What was your friend's name, and why am I getting a headache already just as soon as you bring her up? I just get a headache right here, like right above my third eye. Emma. Was she suffering with headaches, or was there something about a headache whenever she passed? Or did she just regularly have headaches? What's going on with that? Why am I getting that as my little hello from her? And if you don't know, you can type that. Okay. But I need you to tell me about this headache. Why is she signing on to me with a headache? Because I didn't have any kind of feeling up here of anything out of sorts until you started talking about her. So I want to know, why is this significant? This would be like right above my third eye, center of my forehead. Dana, can you actually hear what I'm saying to you? Because you're not answering my question. Oh, now I see what you're saying. Did this just start right after she passed, or has this been going on before then? There's definitely a delay here. That makes sense for a couple of things. Okay. Okay. So if she's giving me the headache, then she's talking to me about your dad. She's trying to say something to me about your dad then if she didn't. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that's allowed. Okay. Okay, so the first thing that I'm really hearing is she wants you to know that she really appreciates you. And I don't feel like she's as worried about you as she is about your dad. And she's wanting you to talk your dad into having that checked out with his head, with what's going on with his head. She wants him to get some medical attention about it and see what's going on there. And she seems to be kind of obsessing about that because normally after you give a message like that, then the sensation will sort of fall away. And instead of falling away, she's just kind of like expanded the headache. Like she's made it feel like it's going across more of my forehead. So she's letting me know that this, whatever is going on with this head, seems to be getting worse. And so she kind of doesn't want anybody to mess around with it. She just wants him to get it looked at. He has cancer too. What kind of cancer does he have? Or does they have a chemo for? All right. Have they taken any scans of his head lately since he started having this head pain or problems with his head, as you said? Hmm. That's really rough. It's really rough. Okay, well, I think the message is to have them actually look at his head specifically. It seems like there's something going on there that she is recommending that you guys have a good look at. Wow. How long has he been dealing with the way she's impressing me? I think she wants you to look at it again, so it may be building up again. Because I feel like unless it was looked at like today or yesterday, I feel like it needs to be looked at again. And she's telling me again that she appreciates you so much. I think she's saying that because she appreciates that you're looking out for him. Earlier, it was more she appreciates you because of how you were to her. This is now she appreciates you because you're looking out for your dad. Okay. Well, I'm just going to say again what she's really like, she just wants you to have his head checked out. She says heaven is not what you think it is, but she's in a very good place. She's saying she's happy and she's free. As in, like, free from any problems, the restrictions, limitations, free. Okay, honey money. I'm going to close this down. If you want to get a full-fledged mediumship reading with me, you can. You can see how to do that on my website. But I want to move on and see if somebody else has a need for messages today, too. Well, that's cool, Dana. Sunrise Jesus, do you need a message today? Would you like a message today? You're quite welcome, honey. Boo ba da doo doo, boo ba da doo. Sunrise Jesus. Are you still in the room? Do you need a message? Is there anybody in the room that I have not read for that has a question for me to look at? If so, please put it in the chat. I'm going to be here about 3 more minutes. After that, I am done, 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 done. If there's something else you guys want to talk about, feel free to put that in the chat too. We can chit chat while we wait for people who want messages. Yep. La da 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 da, la da da da. Anybody else want a message? Put it in the chat now or forever hold your peace, at least until next time. Those of you who want to hang out with me next time I'm here and get a live reading, please put a subscribe. Push the subscribe button, click the subscribe button, however you want to say that. And check your subscription feed. Usually when you would log into YouTube, they take you to a home feed, which may or may not show you the people you're subscribed to and what they've put up lately. So that's why it's important to go check your subscription feed so you can find the people that you really want to see instead of just the people that YouTube thinks you really want to see. You get to have a little bit more say-so then. I really don't, Dana G. Because I'm doing this, and right now I'm also supplementing with driving for Lyft. So it's whenever I have time and I'm not too tired. So the more we get back to doing readings full time, like we used to, then the more often I'll be on. Digital IDs? I did not hear that. What does that mean? That you have to carry your phone with you with your ID all the time? Because, I mean, you can't be somewhere without your ID. Excuse me. I ate a little lunch before I came on here, and it's trying to be all noisy. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. I was seeing that there was a town, I think it was in southern Colorado, where had they had been paying this company to have up cameras to track like cars and help with, I think it was to help with like traffic tickets and stuff like that. And they canceled the subscription and they asked the company to come out and pull down all of those cameras. And so they did because they were afraid. They had heard that ICE um, had access to that information and they were using that somehow to track people down. And so the city covered up the cameras. Once they decided to do that, they covered up the cameras, had the company that had installed the cameras come out and take them down that they had the subscription with. And then 2 days later, the company came out and put the cameras back up again. And when I was reading the article yesterday or day before, it was a big mystery about, why are those cameras going back up? The city did not backtrack on their idea to cancel that contract. So that just makes me wonder if ICE isn't now paying for them to be back up. But then wouldn't the city have some say so? Oh, you know what? Like that just makes me think of the whole Revelations prophecy about the mark of the beast. Because I think in Revelations it says that if you don't take the mark of the beast, then you're not able to do things like that. Let me see if I can find that quote. See exactly. Okay, so what AI is saying, actually, let's just leave it. Let's go straight to this is the King James Version. It's Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 and 17. Hang on. This needs more context. 16's a little too late to pick up. Hmm. Let's do a different version that's easier to understand. Let's try New King James Revelation chapter 13. New King James. Oh, the heading on this is the beast from the sea, and you're talking about this being in the United Kingdom, and they're an island. That's interesting. Let's see. I've heard teachings about this where it was totally analyzed to pieces before, but I don't remember everything that they said. Hmm. I hope this isn't what's going on right now. So there's a lot of symbolism here. We're just going to start at the very beginning of this chapter, and we're going to try not to make this into actually a Bible study, but we are going to look at it because I haven't looked at it in a long time, and just now, like glancing through it, there I don't think that there's a good place to start really, except maybe at the beginning of the chapter. So it starts off, this is chapter 13 out of Revelations, out of the New King James Version of the Bible. Then I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rising up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his 10 horns 10 crowns, and on his heads a blasphemous name. Now the beast which I saw was like a leopard, his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth like the mouth of a lion. The dragon gave him his power, his throne, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as if it had been mortally wounded, and his deadly wound was healed. And all of the world marveled and followed the beast. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? I guess you would think that if his head was mortally wounded and he still lived. And he was given a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. I mean, that kind of rings a bell of someone right now. And he was given authority to continue for 42 months. How many years is 42 months? 3 is 36. 42. So almost 4 years. Then he opens his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and those who dwell in heaven. It was granted to him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. All who dwell on the earth will worship him, whose names have not been written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. That's interesting. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. He who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. Oh, so this is the second one. And he had 2 horns like a lamb and spoke like a dragon. And he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, and causes the earth and those who dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He performs great things so we basically have a dragon who gave the first beast power. We have the first beast, and now we have a second beast. He performs great signs so that he even makes fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Well, that could easily be like a nuclear situation, or that could be bombs dropping fire from heaven. And he deceives those who dwell on the earth by those signs which he was granted to do in the sight of the beast, telling those who dwell on earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded by his sword and lives. He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that is, the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as who would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So now we've got an image being horrible. He causes all, both small and great. Here now we're getting to what we were talking about. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. It is kind of scary, actually. There are some things on there that are kind of trippy because, we're putting up all these pictures of President Trump and these big banners. Somebody was saying they're all over Washington, D.C. I know I heard on what day? I think it was Labor Day. One of the department heads talking about this huge banner that they had hanging outside their building. I can't remember which was her department, but I don't know. I don't know. I hope that's not the mark of the beast, because if somebody starts doing that, if one country starts doing that, that's going to spread. And actually, probably a lot of you know this, but like pets in the United States, you're supposed to, at least in Missouri, you're supposed to register your pet, and they put like this, they use a syringe and they put like a little rice-sized thing like in your pet's paw or in your pet's shoulder, not paw, but like right above the paw. And that has like the identifying information for your pet. And I was thinking when I first heard about that, like that would not surprise me if that ended up being something like they decided to put into humans. And that ends up being the mark of the beast. So I don't know what this digital thing is. Because a digital thing might just be something you have to carry on your phone, but it also could be something like that. And now everybody's gone quiet. Well, that's a good way to kill conversation, isn't it? Yes, it also has the owner's name and phone number. I mean, they can put like the whole medical information they can attach to that. So, like, if you scan this little rice-sized thing in the system, there can be all kinds of information attached to that. It just basically has an identifying number. And then when you find the number of that thing, you find all this information. And they can do, aren't they already putting, excuse me, here in the US, they're trying to already put all of our medical information on a centralized location too. So that if there's an emergency or something and you're taken to an emergency room, a doctor can look you up and see all your medical history. I mean, that's not too far to imagine that being attached to any kind of digital mark so that people can find out more about us. Anyway, they say that nobody knows when the end times are really coming. But there will be a lot of hints, wars and rumors of wars and all kinds of stuff. So, but people have thought the end of the world is coming for like hundreds of years now. If you gave permission for your medical records to be put on that server, that's true. I didn't give permission. I was like, no, no, that's Big Brother. Thank you. I don't need Big Brother knowing all my medical history. But that's because I'm a Scorpio, number one, so I'm a little paranoid. I'm ex military, so I've seen how the government can do with information. I was like, no, thank you. All right, guys, I've been here for an hour and 12 minutes. It's time for me to get out of here and see what other stuff I can get into. Thank you all for hanging out with me and keeping me company. I appreciate it. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace out.